I don't want to say I'm a little disoriented, but just as we were starting, I said to Swendeman, "Where's the record button on this thing?"
Jim, the holidays get to everybody, but this is not exactly the way we would want to start an episode off. That's never a good sign.
It's the 2 minute drill. Jim Monaghan, Chris Swendeman. We're in between Christmas and New Year's, and yesterday being Sunday, we both had some rather interesting, although very different NFL experiences. You, Mr. Buffalo Bills Mafia man, I will let you start because you made the trek from New Jersey all the way up to Buffalo. How was it? Aside from the end result of the game, what was the experience like?
Absolutely phenomenal off the hook. Bills Mafia, you did not disappoint. It was absolutely amazing experience, probably the best football experience I've ever had in at a game at a pro NFL game. The people, the fans, the passion, the experience. I did get. I will be a little bit braggadocious for a second. I was lucky enough to get sideline passes before the game, so I got to hang out sideline, watch the warm ups, see the players come by. Which, by the way, if you've ever watched NFL games, there is nothing like getting up close because you realize just how big some of these guys are. And the whole experience, though, watching Bills Mafia meet up with Fly Eagles Fly, the thing is, it's like watching, that meme that's on like Facebook and everything of the two Spider-Mans pointing at each other.
Yes.
That's the Bills fans pointing at Eagle fans. They're the exact same things. One's just AFC, one's NFC. One, they're putting each other through tables. The other ones are yelling "Fly Eagles, fly" all over the place. I had a woman come up to me at dinner. We were chatting, waiting for our tables at dinner on Saturday night in Buffalo, and the woman said, "Oh, leave it to my husband. He picked the hotel where all the Eagle fans are staying, and all I hear throughout the entire hotel is either 'Fly Eagles, fly' or." Them yelling out Eagles Eagles. Could you imagine staying at a hotel where that's all you heard the entire time? I'd sleep in my car before I had to listen to that. But the entire experience was so worth it. It was just a different level. I don't know how else to explain it, but the entire thing from being up in Buffalo to being at the game, watching the tailgates all the way through the game and the passion of the Bills fans, it was absolutely just amazing. I loved every minute of it.
So, down here in New Jersey, it was like 30 degrees. I'm at MetLife Stadium. It's 30 degrees, and I'm looking at the temperature in Buffalo. I go, wow, it's warmer up there than it is down here. But you had an immense amount of rain. How long did it
Yep.
take for you to dry out?
I still am a little soggy. I got to be honest. Even with the heat on for 6 hours all the way home from Buffalo, it was just a monsoon from noon all the way through game time, through the end of the game at 7:30, 8 o'clock, whatever it was. It just poured. It just poured, and the skies opened up, and it just kept opening up. There was a little break in between second quarter and halftime, and then third quarter opened up again. It was just nasty. But you know what? 5, 10 degrees colder, that would have been a snowstorm, and we would have been in the middle of a blizzard watching the game, which kind of would have been really kind of just the course for Buffalo, but it was definitely different. And being it was throwing me off that it wasn't as cold as I was thinking it was going to be. But the night before and this morning, it was cold.
As I'm watching this whole thing, and I'm looking forward to the new stadium that's coming up there. Like, this is one of the last times they're going to have to deal with this type of thing.
Yeah, the way the new stadium works out, the center of the roof covers most of the fans. So you won't get that. The field will be open for the elements, but the fans are going to kind of be sheltered from it for the most part. And I mean, the stadium looks beautiful. Took a couple pictures of it when we were walking in because it's right across the street. I mean, it looks absolutely gorgeous. It's gonna be great to see it when it opens. But it definitely Highmark Stadium is definitely you are open to the elements. The middle tier is kind of covered by the upper tier, like the old Giant Stadium used to be. But other than that, you're out in the elements. And it's really cool because it's different in the fact that when you come in, you're up and you go down. So the lower tier, you're up higher when you come in and you go down because they built the stadium into the ground, which most build it up from, and it's just a different thing, and it's just got such a rich history to it. It's a really cool place, and I'm really glad I got to go watch a game there before they shut it down at the end of the year.
I have been to two Patriots home games. One was in Foxborough, and the other was at MetLife Stadium on Sunday. Chris, I've never heard an opposing team's fans that loud in a building. I've been to Yankee Red Sox games in Boston and New York. I've been to Met Phillies games in both locations. I've never heard an opposing team's fan base that loud. The MVP chants that were coming from the lower bowl for Drake May after they pulled him out of the game, and I think it was somewhere midway through the third quarter. I couldn't get over how loud it was. And I get it. The Jets have been going nowhere most of the season, and there were a lot of empty seats, and there were a lot of Massachusetts license plates in the parking lot. A couple of buses that I saw that came
Right.
down from Massachusetts. I knew there would be a lot of Patriots fans in the building. I never, ever expected what I saw yesterday. I couldn't even hear Fireman Ed. I was told he
You
was
make
there,
that sound
but
like a bad thing.
you couldn't hear. I mean, at the old Giant Stadium here, you'd go and you could
Right.
hear Ed from anywhere in the building. I didn't hear too much
Absolutely.
of him yesterday.
Well, there wasn't much to be cheering about. After the opening kickoff, it was downhill from there for the Jets, from what I gathered. I didn't get to see the game because being we were starting tailgating at that point. But it the Jets they're just a disaster at this point. The stat I saw today, I had to look it up in two different places to make sure it was right. Um, the Jets have the worst percentage of score differential in the month of December ever for an NFL team. Ever. Think about how hard that is to do. They have the worst scoring differential in the month of December. And I mean, they still got one game to go, and they are taking the trip up to Buffalo this week, which Adam Schefter was nice enough to point out that the Bills have a bye week. I mean, they're just a punchline at this point. I mean, they're not even. I don't. They talk about all these teams tanking, but I don't think the Jets are even. I don't think it's tanking. I just think they're just that bad.
At one point, I think the score was 28-3. And one of the Jets players was called. I think there was a sack of May, and there was a penalty for taunting. And I turned to my daughter and I said, they're down by 25 points. What could you possibly say to taunt someone? What could you possibly say? And I have no idea what happened on the field, obviously, but you're
Right.
down by 25? Like, for the love of heaven, dude, what are you thinking? But I mean, the Patriots scored on their first five possessions. It would have been the first six had the kicker not doinked one off of the uprights. But they had their way with them up and down the field, one after the other. And we talked a couple of weeks ago about Kafka not coming back with the
Right.
Giants after that performance yesterday rather at MetLife Stadium. You got to be wondering what's going on with Aaron Glenn. How does he keep these guys motivated?
And I feel bad for him because when the Jets, I will say, I was the first one to applaud this move by the Jets
I
to
remember.
bring. I thought it was a great move. I thought it was a great hire. I thought he was going to be just what the Jets needed. I can't believe this team started 0-7 and are in the position they are in now, where they look even worse than the start of the year. Because there were a couple games early on where you're like, all right, I mean, the opening game against Miami, they lost, by a fumble late, and a couple things didn't go their way, and you're like, all right, they got to get their feet under them. They'll be. I never, ever would have thought they would have been this bad. And I will be honest, we talked a couple weeks ago about the Giants making a push if Pittsburgh lets go of Mike Tomlin. You know what, Jets, you better jump over the Giants. And Woody, open the briefcase and go, here, Mike, what do you need? Because, and I don't want anyone to lose their job. And I think Aaron Glenn is a good coach, and I think he'll be a really good coach. I just don't know if he's going to be able to turn this around like somebody who's had the coaching resume of a Tomlin, or if things go bad in Baltimore and Harbaugh gets released. You need somebody who commands respect. And this team needs a fast turnaround because it's been 25, 30, whatever years of suffering for the Jets. So if a Mike Tomlin comes available, I think you have to look at it. Otherwise, I would stay with Glenn. But if somebody with a coaching resume like a Tomlin or a Harbaugh, you have to think about it now.
I'll make the obligatory Stranger Things reference. It was as if the Jets were in the upside down yesterday.
Oh, they were in the upside down. All right.
I have to say, there was a little kid a couple of seats away from us, and I looked over and I go, that looks like Derek. The kid looked exactly like the kid. If you watch Stranger Things, you know
Yeah.
what we're talking about.
It's one of my
Delightful
favorite shows.
Derek. And I was going to
Oh,
say something to, you look like,
right.
just like that boy from Stranger Things. And I thought, you know what? His dad's with him. And if his dad thinks that I'm talking about Dip Bleep Derek, like, oh
Right.
God, keep your mouth shut, Jim.
Yeah. It's sometimes you're better off.
Yeah. But meanwhile, I'm looking at this poor kid, and he's got his jet gear on. I just felt so bad for him. He has known nothing but this misery. I think he was 9 years old. That's all he's known.
Oh, I can't even imagine what it's like right now. What do you hang your hat on? Like that they have a high draft pick? They might not even get the quarterback that they need or they want because the Raiders are in front of them. And you talk about another awful game yesterday, the Raiders and the Giants. Who was watching that debacle? Raider fans and Giant fans. I want to know either one of the fan bases. Anybody who wants to speak up, what did you watch and why? Why would you do that to yourself?
The only reason to watch that game is if you had money on it. That's
100%.
it. That's it.
100%.
It's the only reason to watch that travesty.
No, but the only good part about it was selfishly, as somebody rooting for Buffalo, it was great to have all eyes in the afternoon games on the Bills and Eagles because who was going to watch the one other opportunity, the one other game that was on, and that was the Giants and Raiders because it was on the West Coast. That's the only reason that was a 425 game because I can't see either fan base watching that game yesterday and going, oh boy, can't wait for this one. I just don't get it. I just really don't.
Well, there's always next year.
Yeah. I mean, look at, you look at the Raiders. I don't want to go into the whole tanking thing because I've said my piece about it, and I don't believe any professional team should tank to try to get the number. And I get when it could be a team altering player, a franchise altering player, but you see the Raiders, you see the Jets. I just believe aren't that good. Like, I don't believe they're trying to tank. Like, even the Miamis and Clevelands of the world got wins yesterday when they shouldn't have. The Giants had the number one pick as of, before the game yesterday, and they beat the Raiders.
Oops.
The Raiders, yeah. Oops, but you know what? At least they showed they were trying, or if the Raiders are just that much worse. But you look at it, and I really, if I'm Roger Goodell, I'm keeping an eye on the Raiders because what they're doing seems to be almost a little too calculated, if you get my drift.
And indeed, I do. And if you want to look ahead to next year, Christmas will be on a Friday.
Oh
So
boy.
if it runs to form, you'll have a Thursday night game.
Christmas Eve.
You'll have at least one, if not multiple games on Friday, Christmas Day.
Yep.
You'll have Saturday games. You'll have Sunday.
And you'll have Monday Night Football.
You'll have Monday. Like, it's almost every day of the week. It's Roger Goodell's wet dream.
It really is. They want to be on every day like Major League Baseball or like basketball, hockey, even, all the other major sports go throughout the week. And the NFL was really the only one that didn't. And now, but maybe you get a break on Tuesday, as long as that doesn't fall on some major holiday where they can occupy that too. But they really are getting to be a 6 day a week, function, a brand. So Roger Goodell is getting exactly what he wants for the most part.
How was your Christmas?
Absolutely amazing. Got to be home with family, and it was absolutely fantastic. What about yours?
A very nice Christmas. We celebrated here on Christmas Eve, went to my sister-in-law's on Christmas Day, and we got home a little later than we expected. So we ended up staying up until 2 a.m. to watch the Stranger Things episodes.
Night. Now that's hardcore.
It was
I'm
very
a little,
hardcore.
I'm a little behind on the Stranger Things episodes. I will admit, even as a huge fan, because we were at my in-laws on Staten Island on Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day we were home. But we had family coming over, so there was a lot of running around, and I didn't get to watch it yet. So I'm a little behind, but I'm about to catch up real quick.
Ask me how I'm spending New Year's Eve.
Let me guess. Can I guess?
Well, you can if
I
you
know we
want,
get
or you
one.
can just ask me like I told you to.
Okay, but what are you doing on New Year's Eve, Jim?
I'm so glad you asked. My wife, my younger daughter, and I are going to a movie theater to watch the finale of Stranger Things.
That is awesome. I absolutely love that. That is fantastic. I wanted to do that. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but man, that is going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to hear. I can't wait till we talk next week and you tell me all about it.
I've gotten completely sucked into it. And the more I get into it, the more I appreciate the attention to detail from the two Duffer brothers. I mean, nothing goes unnoticed. And I don't want to say anything because if
Right.
like you, someone may not have caught up on everything. There's just so many things going on in this. It's a heavy lift to get involved in the show. I will admit that, but there's so many cool things that they do. And I'm hoping that the payoff for this finale is what I'm expecting.
Yeah, I mean, they've built it up so much that I think we're going to be in for a treat. I don't think we're going to have a Sopranos ending, put it that way. And if, like, the kids say, if you know, you know.
Hmm.
So I don't think it's going to wind up leaving us hanging like the Sopranos.
Well, I'm glad you've dried out from your trip up to Buffalo and, enjoy the bye week next week.
Yes, I'm going to try.
And we will
I'm
talk
going to.
again next Monday. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, hit the subscribe button just below. It's right there. It's
That one's
right there. You
right
can
there.
see
Go
it.
get it. Right.
And all that algorithm stuff. Tell a friend if you like us. Tell an enemy if you hate us. Just tell somebody. And Chris Swendeman will talk next week.
Hey, Jim, I'll talk to you next year.
Huh. That's a good one.
Ah,
See ya.
boom, boom. See ya.